This is the Focus Shift podcast, your best listening experience for creating your best online business. We'll focus on topics that help you get discovered. So sit back, listen, take notes if you like, and get excited about growing your business.
You know, I had a moment the other day that made me realize just how lazy I've become. Or actually, let's be generous to myself. Maybe not lazy, just efficient.
Efficient is definitely the nicer word for it. What happened?
Okay, so I needed to plan a dinner for a friend who's visiting, and she is strictly vegan and gluten-free. Now, rewind like 2 years ago. I would have sat down at my laptop, cracked my knuckles, and typed best vegan gluten-free restaurants into Google.
Oh, yeah.
I would have scrolled past the ads, opened 5 or 6 different tabs, read the menus, cross-referenced the reviews on Yelp, checked the map. It was a whole project.
Oh, I know that struggle well.
Yeah.
The dreaded tab fatigue.
Yeah.
You end up with 20 tabs open, and you're more confused than when you started.
Exactly. It's exhausting. But this time, I literally just picked up my phone while I was walking the dog and said, Siri, find me a highly rated vegan and gluten-free dinner spot within 15 minutes of downtown that's open right now.
And what happened?
And she just gave me the answer. One answer. The Green Route is rated 4.8 stars and is 10 minutes away. And we went there. It was great.
That right there, that specific moment on your dog walk, is the tectonic shift we are talking about today. You completely bypassed the hunt.
Yeah.
You didn't want a list of links to research. You wanted a solution to a problem.
And that creates a massive, massive problem if you are a business owner relying on those 10 blue links to get customers. Today, we are digging into a concept that sounds a bit technical at first, but it is honestly survival critical for anyone with a website, especially creatives like photographers.
Right.
We're moving from the world of SEO, search engine optimization, to AEO.
Answer engine optimization.
Right. If you were just trying to rank on Google in the traditional way, you might already be losing the game.
It's not just unnerving, it's a massive wake-up call. The fundamental premise here is that the internet is changing from a library where you go to look things up to an oracle that just tells you the answer.
An oracle.
I like that. If you're a photographer and your website is essentially just a pretty gallery waiting for someone to click on it, this source material argues that to the modern AI tools, you might as well be invisible.
Invisible. That is the word that really stuck with me reading through this. So our mission for this deep dive is to figure out how not to be invisible. We need to unpack how this AI-driven search actually works, not the sci-fi version, but the practical mechanics of it. We need to understand why answering is replacing ranking. And most importantly, we're going to break down the specific strategies and even look at some tools like PhotoBiz that can help you survive this shift.
Let's dive in.
Okay, let's unpack this. We all know SEO. It's been the digital marketing gospel for like 20 years. Keywords, backlinks, meta tags. The goal was always to get to page 1.
Right. Traditional SEO was fundamentally a traffic game. Think of it like a billboard on a busy highway. You wanted your website to be on the busiest highway, page 1 of Google, so that people driving by would see your sign and decide to pull over.
Click your link.
Click your link to visit your store.
The metric of success was the click. If they didn't click, you failed.
Exactly. You optimized for discovery. You wanted the human being to leave the search engine and come to your territory. But AEO, answer engine optimization, it kind of flips that logic on its head.
How so?
The new goal isn't necessarily to get the user to leave the search engine immediately. The goal is to provide the search engine with the information it needs to satisfy the user right there and then.
There was a quote in the article that really nailed this distinction for me. It said, "The top spot is no longer a web page, it's a snippet of knowledge."
That's the crux of it.
Yeah.
Think about how you used Siri for that restaurant. You didn't visit the restaurant's website until after you made the decision, if at all. The AI, whether it's Siri, ChatGPT, or Google's new AI overviews, acted as the gatekeeper.
Oh.
It read the internet for you.
So the AI is like a really high-end executive assistant. The assistant reads all the books, checks all the files, and just gives the CEO the summary.
That is the perfect analogy. And here is the kicker. If that executive assistant reads your website and can't find a clear, direct answer to the question the CEO asked, the assistant isn't going to guess.
Right.
They aren't going to spend 20 minutes deciphering your metaphors. They're just going to skip you and find a source that is clearer.
So if I ask, what should I wear for an autumn engagement shoot? owner, the AI wants to say, wear earthy tones, layers, and avoid small patterns.
Exactly.
It doesn't want to say, here's a blog post by Sarah that starts with a 500-word story about her love of pumpkin spice lattes and falling leaves.
We have all been victims of those recipe blogs, right? Where you just want to know how many eggs go in the cake, but first you have to read about the author's grandmother's childhood in Tuscany.
The absolute worst. I just want the cookies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
AEO is effectively the death of that style of content. The AI engines, Google's Gemini, Bing Chat, Perplexity, they are predatory for facts. They are scanning for the answer. If you bury the answer under fluff, you lose the spot.
But I have to play devil's advocate here, because I can hear business owners listening to this and thinking, okay, great, the AI gives the answer, the user gets what they want, but nobody clicks my website. How do I make money? Isn't this bad for business?
That is the most common fear. It's called the zero-click search. But the source material makes a really important distinction here. We are looking at a hybrid model. SEO isn't dead.
Okay.
It's morphing. For simple questions like what time is sunset or how much is a permit for this park, you don't need a click. The user just needs the info.
But for high-value services.
Right. For high-value services like who is the best wedding photographer in North Carolina for a moody cinematic style, the user's not going to just book someone because Siri said a name.
No.
They will eventually click. But, and this is the key, the AI validates you first.
I see. So the AI puts you on the short list.
Precisely. If the AI recommends you in that summary box, or if the voice assistant mentions your name, that's a massive trust signal. The user is far more likely to click through after that recommendation.
So it's about getting shortlisted by the machine so the human can hire you.
You got it.
So we are optimizing for the machine to recommend us to the human. That brings us to the invisible professional concept the article mentions. We need to talk about the 2026 client.
Yeah, this is a user persona based on current trajectories.
Yeah.
The 2026 client doesn't search in the traditional sense. They converse.
They converse.
They don't type photographer Dallas. They talk to their device and say, I need a photographer in Dallas who specializes in candid documentary-style shots and is available in October.
That is a wildly specific, complex query.
It is. And traditional keywords, just having Dallas photographer on your homepage won't cut it. The AI needs to understand your attributes. It needs to know your style, your availability, your location, and your reputation.
The article had a brutal quote about this. It said, if you aren't optimized for these complex queries, if the AI can't connect those dots, then to that client, you functionally don't exist.
It's harsh, but true. If the AI doesn't understand who you are, it can't recommend you. And since the client isn't scrolling past page 1 anymore, they're just listening to the answer, they literally won't see you.
And it's not just your website, right? The AI is looking everywhere.
That's a huge part of AEO. It's the digital footprint. The AI is reading Reddit threads to see what real people say about you.
Wow.
It's reading Google reviews. It's scanning Instagram captions.
Wait, let's pause on Instagram. I usually think of Instagram as just a portfolio. I post a photo, I get likes, but you're saying the AI is reading my captions.
Absolutely. The article points out that Instagram is effectively a visual search engine now, but more importantly, AI tools scrape that text to understand context.
Okay.
So if your caption just says, love this couple, with a heart emoji, you gave the AI zero information.
You're guilty as charged.
But if your caption says, had a blast shooting this moody bohemian wedding at the Ivory Oak venue in Austin, you just gave the AI 3 massive data points. Style, moody boho, service, wedding, and location, Austin, the Ivory Oak.
And if I just put the heart emoji?
You gave the AI nothing. You are a ghost. The image is just pixels to the machine unless you give it context.
Okay, that is a light bulb moment. We can't just be best kept secrets. We have to feed the machine. So let's get tactical. The source material outlines a strategy session with 5 specific ways to do this. I want to walk through these because they seem actually doable, even if you aren't a tech wizard.
They are. It's not about learning to code. It's about changing how you write and structure information.
Strategy number 1 was direct answers. We touched on this with the recipe blog thing. The advice is don't bury the lead.
This is the inverted pyramid style of writing. Journalists learn this day 1. Put the most important information at the very top.
So,
if your blog post title is, how much does a wedding photographer cost? Your very first paragraph should give a range or a direct answer.
It feels counterintuitive for creatives who want to tell a story. We want to say the value of a memory is priceless and build up to the number.
Save the poetry for the second paragraph. The AI bot scans the top of the page. It wants to see confidence. If you answer the question immediately, the AI flags your content as high utility.
High utility.
That increases your chances of being that featured snippet at the top of Google results.
Okay, so answer first, elaborate second. Strategy number 2 is about structure. Headers, bullets, numbered lists. Why does AI love bullet points so much?
It comes down to how these large language models, LLMs, process text. They aren't reading like a human. They're parsing data structure.
Okay.
A giant wall of text is hard to parse. It's unstructured data. But a header that says 3 tips for lighting, followed by a bulleted list, is essentially code. You are handing the AI a map.
You're making it easy for the bot to steal your content in a good way.
Exactly. You want to be skimmable. If an AI can easily extract your 3 tips, it's more likely to cite you as the source when someone asks Siri for lighting advice. According to your name, the 3 tips are...
That makes sense. Strategy number 3 was think in questions. This goes back to that conversational search we talked about.
Right. Instead of a generic page title like newborns, change it to how to prepare for your newborn session.
Or when is the best time for newborn photos?
Yeah. You are literally matching the question the user is speaking into their phone.
Verbatim matching helps.
It helps a lot. It signals relevance. A Q&A section on your site is essentially gold for AEO. It's just a list of questions and answers perfectly formatted for a voice assistant to read out loud.
I love that. It's low effort but high impact. Now, strategy number 4 was my absolute favorite because it felt like a cheat code, a quick answer box.
This is a power move. The idea is to manually create a summary box at the very top of your long-form content. You literally label it quick answer or key takeaway.
So if I'm writing that long article about what to wear, at the very top, I put a shaded box that says, quick answer, avoid logos, stick to a 3-color palette, and prioritize comfort.
Exactly. You are hand-feeding the algorithm. You're saying, hey, Google, here is the snippet you are looking for. You don't even have to parse the rest of the text.
And the article mentioned that human readers actually love this too.
They do. It respects their time. And interestingly, when you give people the quick answer up front, they often trust you more and end up reading the rest of the article anyway because you didn't try to trick them into scrolling past ads.
It establishes authority. Okay, strategy number 5, natural tone. This is a warning against the old SEO tricks.
We've all seen those websites from 2010. Best photographer Miami. If you are looking for a best photographer Miami, I have the best photographer Miami capturing Miami memories.
It sounds like a robot having a stroke.
It does. And today's AI is smart enough to know that's garbage. It uses natural language processing. It wants to see semantic richness.
Right.
It wants you to write like a human being talking to another human being.
So stop trying to sound smart for the computer and just be helpful for the person.
Helpful is the key word. Google's latest updates are literally called the Helpful Content Update. If you sound like a real person offering genuine advice, the algorithm rewards you. If you sound like a keyword stuffer, it penalizes you.
Okay, so that covers what we do on our own websites, the on-page stuff. But we mentioned earlier that the AI looks at the broader internet. Let's talk about expanding the footprint. Off-page AEO. This feels harder because we can't control it as easily.
It is harder, but it's critical. This is about corroboration. If you say you're an expert on your own site, that's nice. But if 5 other websites say you're an expert, that's a fact.
This is the web of trust.
Exactly. And for local businesses, the biggest piece of this puzzle is the Google Business Profile. You need to claim it, fill out every single field, and get reviews. But not just 5 stars reviews.
The source material made a really interesting point here about the content of the reviews.
Yes. If a client writes, she was great, that helps your star rating. But if a client writes, she was amazing at handling our large family during our Sunset Beach session in Charleston, that is AEO Gold.
Because it connects the keywords large family, beach, Charleston to your business name in a third-party trusted source.
Exactly. The AI reads that and builds a semantic connection. So when you ask clients for reviews, it's actually okay to prompt them a bit. Say, hey, could you mention specifically how the sunset shoot went, or mention what it was like working at that venue?
That is a great tip. And what about things like forums, Reddit, Quora?
These are becoming huge. Google is surfacing Reddit threads in search results constantly now.
Well.
Participating there, genuinely, not spamming, is a great strategy. If someone asks for photographer recommendations in a local subreddit and you jump in with helpful advice, even if you don't pitch yourself hard, The AI associates your identity with helpful photographer.
It really is about being a good digital citizen.
It is.
Yeah.
And collaborations, too. Getting mentioned on a wedding planner's blog or a venue's preferred vendor list. Even if they don't link to you, just the mention of your name in close proximity to their name creates a data association.
Okay, I want to pause here because I can practically hear the listeners sighing. We've listed a lot of things. Structure headers, write summary boxes, manage Google reviews, post on Reddit, fix Instagram captions.
Yeah.
It sounds like a full-time job.
Sure.
And most of our listeners just want to take pictures.
The overwhelm is the biggest barrier. Most creatives aren't technical writers or SEO specialists, and they don't want to be.
What does it actually do that helps with this?
PhotoBiz is interesting because it seems to be built with this specific shift in mind. It treats the website builder not just as a design tool, but as an automation layer for all this technical stuff we just discussed.
So it handles the boring back-end stuff.
Right. Take alt text for images. We know we need to describe images for Google to see them. PhotoBiz automates the technical tagging and meta descriptions. It ensures the code structure, the schema, is set up so that Google knows this is a local business without you having to touch the HTML.
That's helpful, but the feature that really stood out to me in the article was the AI writing assistant.
This directly addresses the I don't know what to write problem. You can basically treat it like an embedded copywriter.
How does it work? Is it just ChatGPT plugged into the builder?
It's similar, but it's tuned for the platform. You can give it a prompt like, write a blog post about why couples should do an engagement session. And it doesn't just write a wall of text. It generates the content with the structure we talked about, the headers, the bullet points, the clear intro.
So it speaks algorithm fluently, so you don't have to.
Exactly. It's a translator.
Yeah.
You provide the intent, I want to sell engagement sessions, and the tool translates that into a format that Google's answer engine can easily digest.
That is a massive time saver. It means you don't have to study semantic structure, you just hit a button.
And that's really the future of these tools. They shouldn't make you work harder. They should handle the optimization so you can focus on the art.
So let's zoom out and wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground. We are moving from a world of clicking links to a world of getting answers.
From search to satisfaction.
I like that. And while it feels scary, this idea of being invisible if you don't adapt, it actually feels like a move toward quality.
I agree. The era of gaming the system with hidden keywords is over. AEO forces you to be genuinely helpful. It forces clarity, and frankly, that is better for the internet and better for the client.
It's less about tricking a robot and more about serving a human.
Exactly. The mission is to be accessible where the client is looking and to have the answer ready when they ask.
So for everyone listening, here is your homework. I want you to do an audit. Go look at your own website, open your latest blog post.
Ask yourself, am I answering a question or am I just telling a story? And check your off-page presence. Google your own business name, plus reviews, and see what the AI is reading about you.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought. We talked about how these AI assistants are basically summarizing the internet for their users.
Right. The ultimate executive summary.
So think about this. If an AI supercomputer, with all its processing power, can't summarize your unique value into one single clear sentence based on your website, do you really think a busy, distracted human client is going to take the time to figure it out?
The Focus Shift podcast is presented by PhotoBiz, the best website solution for photographers. Whether you're launching your site or scaling your online business, PhotoBiz has your back. To get started for free, visit photobiz.com today.